Small crowd tonight. We like that.
You were saying going into the game, big goal, despite who was in the lineup, was to exit the game with good habits. It looks like mission accomplished.
Yeah, for the most part, the habits were good. We played hard. We turned the puck over a couple of times, but that's going to happen in every hockey game. Again, in the third period, we buckled down and we got the job done.
As a coach, what are you doing right when young guys come into the lineup and succeed the way they did? Cole Perfetti comes back into the lineup and has been kind of hitting the ground running every time he comes out. David Gustafson. When you've got guys sitting out of the lineup, getting into the lineup and playing the way they play, what is the coaching staff doing right in that case?
Well, first of all, you give Mark Morrison and his staff a lot of credit for the job they've done with Lambert and Chipperkoff. Those two kids step in and they look good. So Mark is doing a fantastic job with the Moose and getting those guys ready to go. So good on him. And Marty and Brad and Arnie, they spend a lot of time with the guys who aren't playing, making sure they get extra work and pushing them and give the guys credit because it's hard when you're not playing to stay motivated every day to work and give that extra because you're not playing. But so the players give them a lot of credit because they did put the work in, and the coaches, the assistant coaches, have been fantastic with those guys.
That game you played against Dallas the other night, the Dallas players afterwards said that's Bones hockey, right? You're a well-known coach for being able to implement a defensive style and be able to grind other teams. So what does it mean to Rick Bowness to coach his team to the least amount of goals scored against this season?
Again, I give the players credit because the players have to go on the ice and do it, and they have to go out there every night and be committed to it, and they have to recognize when it's not working and go back to it. So our players have worked incredibly hard all year, and so you give them a ton of credit. The goaltending's been exceptional, as you know, but again, when things slip and we address the issues, the players buy right back in and turn it right around. So to play the way we play is hard. There's no question it's hard. It's frustrating to play against, and I think our players take great pride in that when they're talking to their friends around the league that, geez, we hate playing you guys. You're so hard to play against. I think that's extra motivation for our players, but it all comes from them. They're committed to it.
Rick, how efficiently do you think Lambert and Chipperkoff were able to transfer what they were showing in the AHL to their first NHL games?
Yeah, it's a good game for them to break into because they didn't have their A squad out there, and we didn't, and they were able to get some ice time. We weren't matching lines; we were just throwing four lines out there, and they just felt very comfortable. So again, give Mark and his staff a lot of credit because those two kids were ready to step in and play.
And for your other NHL players, your regulars who were sitting but managed to get the action tonight, I feel like this is a good tune-up for them as well.
Yeah. The guys that wanted to play were in there tonight, and so they wanted to because we're starting Sunday now, as you know. So some guys didn't want to play, and that's fine. The guys that wanted to play were in there, and they give the guys, they had the option. Couldn't sit them all, but the guys that wanted to play, they wanted to play 82 games, and they didn't want to take too much time off between now and the opener.
Rick, I want to ask about the 8-game winning streak that ties a franchise record. I just want to know, have you ever been coaching a team that's been this red hot going into the playoffs?
Well, it's a good question. I think when I was an assistant in Vancouver, we were always pretty good too, right? And the teams in Tampa were very good. So was there an 8-game streak? I can't remember.
And what does
I'm getting old, man. The memory's not as sharp as it used to be.
And what does it say about your group that a good chunk of those 8 wins came against a Colorado, who you're going to play in the first round, or at Dallas on the road? It seems like the competition from the 8-game winning streak earlier in the year ramped up as the play does this time.
It did, and you go back to the Nashville game. We weren't great in that game, but we were good when we had to be good, and we found a way to win it in overtime, and they had been playing great hockey. The big confidence booster came from Dallas. That was a big confidence booster for us. We did not see Colorado's A game, so we're not going to fool ourselves and think that's what we're going to see next week. There's not a chance. They're a great hockey team, so we caught them on a bad day. So we don't get worked up about that one. But the Dallas game was pretty good.
So sorry, just one more. You mentioned Dallas. I'm thinking back to the year you took that team to the Cup final, and I think a lot of people didn't necessarily expect it. You, like a lot of other teams, had like a short window of time to get that team playing the kind of hockey you wanted them to play, which you did. Did you draw any parallels from that year to this year with the kind of late, 6-game losing streak and the way you've kind of snapped this team in right at the right time?
Well, when we went back before that, the bubble, we had to make some adjustments we weren't scoring any goals. So when we went to training camp in that summer, right, whenever that June and July, we implemented getting our defense a lot more involved offensively. And if you look at the stats from like our D, we scored a lot of huge goals for us in the bubble. And I still say to this day, had we had Ben Bishop in the net, we would have won the Cup because our team game was really good. I know a lot of people were surprised that we got that far, but the team game was really good. We were scoring goals. Tampa had Bassey, and Hudobin played great. But Ben Bishop, when he's on, he's a top 3 in the world. So we really missed him in the finals. Good. Thanks.